I'm Bob Bitchin from Latitudes and Attitudes, and I want to discuss the cruising lifestyle. No, not cruise ships, but sailing or power cruising all over this big blue ball we call Earth on your own boat. If you have ever considered sailing and cruising as a way of life, I would highly suggest this is the time to take those dreams and make them happen, because what's going on in this mainland is truly sucky. Now, I don't want to sit here and try to tell you that I have all the answers. Hell, if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here looking into this goofy computer. I'd be out sailing, where I belong. But I was able to get out there for a whole lot of years and a whole lot of miles. And if there's nothing else learned from these 100,000 sea miles, it is just how little of the news we really want to be watching. Example? Easy. You all remember when the O.J. Simpson crap was going on, right? Well, Jody and I don't remember it at all. You see, the year that was the big news, we were cruising in the South Pacific and never saw a news story about it. Years later, when we returned to hell being any place that is supposedly civilized, we found that people glue themselves to the big glass eye, better known as a TV. Now, don't get me wrong. I am one for good entertainment. When we cruise, we always have a selection of at least 100 movies to watch. But they're on DVDs, and before that VHS, so we watch what we want to watch, not what somebody is trying to sell us. And no, I'm not trying to sell you anything, except maybe the beauty of the cruising lifestyle as opposed to what's going on in the world right now. But I have to admit, I'm looking for a way to get away from this civilized world, because these people are not civilized. You need to go out there to meet civilized people, like the people of the South Pacific, who still manage to live the Polynesian lifestyle even with the world burning down around them. Here's the deal. In civilization, things like COVID-19 spread like a virus. Oh yeah, it's a virus. Sorry about that. But it's true. When the pandemic started, we were sailing in the BVIs. There were no cases in paradise. In fact, the first case flew in the day we left the islands. But civilized places like New York, LA, and Chicago don't stand a chance. And then top it all off with the protests. Now, before going on, I got to tell you, I would be out there marching with them, except we now live 40 miles from the nearest protest, which was pretty small in a little town called Chico, California. But I digress. Here's the facts. When you're cruising, you think back to the days in the civilized world, and you see them as a nightmare, because that's what it is living in our civilized society today. You got to worry about someone stealing your stuff. You got to worry about insurance. You got to worry about taxes. You got to worry about car payments and all the great new monthly charges you get for participating in today's digital world. Hell, I know people who spend almost $300 a month just for TV. What kind of sickness is that? Nay, I say. We need to get back to the basics. When I was cruising, I used to read a book just about every 2 days. Now, I'm lucky if I get to read one book a month or even a quarter. There is no time. Gotta get the car washed. Gotta go to the doctor's. Gotta go to the store. Gotta. When you're cruising, you don't gotta. Period. All you gotta do is keep the boat floating. Not as hard as you might think when it's all you have to worry about. Well, yeah, you gotta worry about money. You gotta worry about weather and fuel. But you will be surprised just how little time is spent maintaining the boat and how much time is spent planning a meal. Hell, the biggest problem I had while out there was to not know if I was being called below for lunch or dinner. While cruising, you don't have to worry about what to do. The boat tells you. If the boat thinks you're having too much free time, it'll break something. Then you go to fix it, and you feel like you actually accomplished something. And storms? I got to a point where I like to see the dark clouds ahead. Why, you ask? Simple. When you come out of a storm, you have the feeling of accomplishing something. You get a feeling as the lightness overtakes the dark and as you see the sun start to peek out from below the clouds that you did it. You sailed through a storm. You don't get to feel that watching TV or a movie. No, you have to go actually accomplish something to get that kind of feeling. Kind of like slaying the dragon so you can kiss the fair maiden. You have to face the dragon to get that sloppy kiss. Old Franklin D. said it best. Fair seas never made a skilled sailor. You gotta go out and face the dragon. I can tell you this, there is no better feeling in the world than arriving at a far-flung destination after fighting the sea gods for days and weeks. The harder the crossing, the more appreciated is the safer anchorage. You earn it and it's not given. That's really what made me love the lifestyle. I'll never forget the feeling of pulling into Nuka-Iva in the Marquesas Islands after a 21-day crossing from Mexico. As we pulled into the bay, another sailboat was leaving and we waved. That wave was one of the highlights of my life. There are no fakers out at sea. Either you belong or you don't, and you find that out fast. And once you've entered that fraternity of capable seamen, your life will change for the better forever. What's the point? It's simple. To my knowledge, you only live once. Okay, if you're a Buddhist, maybe more. But for me, once is enough. As long as I can spend at least half my life at sea, I'll be a happy man. Not sure if you knew this or not, but the years spent at sea don't come off your life. They're bonus years. So let the pandemics reign. Let the protests go on. They won't miss you. And I can tell you this is a fact. If you are out there, you will not miss them at all. Just remember, the difference between an ordeal and an adventure is attitude. You put two people on a boat sailing across an ocean, and one will have the worst ordeal of their life, the other the greatest adventure, and the only difference is attitude. So as long as you can keep a starboard attitude, life is a great adventure. Let's get out there and live it. This has been Bob Bitchin with Latitudes and Attitudes magazine. Oh yeah, and Latitudes and Attitudes radio. And Latitudes and Attitudes TV. Latitudes and Attitudes gets around.